Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm going to give you an overview and strategy update, particularly as it relates to 25D and where we're at in this journey of delivering generative AI and agentic solutions to our customers. So it's hard to believe it's only been a few years. We're all remember where we were when GPT launched back in late 2022. It really had obviously a very huge impact on how we thought about AI and its accessibility for folks to build out really interesting and unique use cases, particularly in the enterprise. The Fusion teams jumped right on it. Our team was involved in building out the platform for it and the tooling. And in 2023, 2024, we saw customers basically just trying things out and seeing what the technology could do within their organization. Oracle Fusion had delivered a few hundred use cases. These were what we called embedded authoring use cases at the time. And we started to see customers deploy them into test and try them out and basically start building out pilot programs. What we're seeing in this year is really the move to production, and customers are starting to take a lot of these use cases and actually put them into production and use them as part of their regular work cycle. This includes not only the embedded authoring use cases, but also these Q&A agents that we had delivered earlier in the year as well. And now we're getting into agentic solutions, and this really opens up the opportunity here for us next year to help our customers operationalize AI. But in order to do that, enterprises need to really trust the platform that they're building on. They need the integration to the systems that they work with. They need to trust and have the security in the system, and it needs to be able to scale. So as of now, we've delivered over 400 AI assistants and agents to our customers. So there's no reason why they can't find something that's going to be useful for them within their enterprise. This covers all the pillars and really useful uh, uh, solutions that solve the regular challenges that these customers face day in and day out. And we're also delivering a trustworthy agent platform for their enterprise. So this is enterprise grade AI that's been built into Fusion that our customers can trust. It's secure, it's explainable, it's compliant, and we give them the tools and the governance they need in order to be able to operationalize their solutions. In the middle of it all is Agent Studio, and we'll talk about a couple key features here in 25D. This is just embedded into Fusion applications since 25C. A customer, of course, builds their agents or instantiates one of the Oracle delivered templates. Um, they can set role-based access control to these agents. So each agent is able to support any number of roles, and those users with those roles will have access, but also includes the data security for that particular user as well. Um, the There's dynamic grounding, meaning that we ensure that the answers are grounded to their core documents. This is when they are interacting with their documents through Q&A. And we utilize and take advantage of our infrastructure. So within OCI, we host several models. We use services for guardrails as an example that help manage things like prompt injection, ensure there's no toxic language, even looks for things like harmful images when we get into multimodal. All this is stored in the Fusion database with the audit trail. And even through the system, we're able to integrate models that are outside of OCI. So we're in 25D, we're opening this up to models. We're including models, of course, but we're supporting models or giving access to models, other frontier models like from Anthropic, from Google, from from X as well. So they have everything they need in this platform in order to deliver a trustworthy agents into their enterprise. Now, the platform is one thing, but they also need to ensure that these agents are working well within their environment. And in 25D, we've delivered features that help them do just that. This is the explainability that I was referring to in terms of operationalizing. So we've integrated tools to help them test and monitor and effectively govern their AI agents in production. In the measurement side, they're able to measure how accurate the responses are, if they're compliant with their with their policies. They can look at the performance and the cost, how the latency and the actual tokens used. They can evaluate these agents' responses for semantic correctness. They can they can look at that latency and token use. They can trace. So every agent that's run within their environment, they can see the step-by-step actions that agent took in that organization. All the LLM calls, all the tools used, the inputs and the outputs, the full execution path. So this really gives them the full auditability of what these agents had done within their environment. Every single agent is available, agent run, I should say, is available for tracing. And they get dashboards to observe how it's performing in that environment. So in this set of functionality, which we collectively call Metro, there are, this really meant to address kind of this new age of evaluation as it relates to agentic and non-deterministic workflows in general. Um, in this new world, these outcomes, because these models are probabilistic, the responses are non-deterministic and open-ended. And although the words may be different, they could contain the same semantic meaning. And so we need a different way to evaluate how these agents are responding to the actions that we're asking them to perform. The execution flows are not predetermined. These are very dynamic. These are governed by an agent that is planning and delegating tasks to a set of agents, which means it's hard to detect quality problems. And the networks that these agents and the complexity of the use cases is just growing over time. So this is a real challenge. So the first thing we do is we start with the reporting dashboard. These are the metrics of how the agents are performing. You can see in the screenshot, we're capturing the agent, the median latency and error rates and token count, so folks can start to see how their agents are performing overall on average, and as well as they can see things like the total tokens used. So we provide a lot of really useful metrics, not just median, but things like P99 latency, the token counts, the usage, the amount of requests and turns and users that are accessing it, the median correctness, and we also, of course, are guardrailing things like prompt injection and content. All these are list views that can be sortable and filterable, and you can drill down into these into a trace to take a look at the individual executions. Before we get into the tracing, let's look at the evaluation. So this is where you can do design time testing as well as offline testing. You are effectively ensuring that the responses are correct, semantically correct. So as I mentioned, the words may be different, but the correctness is still the same. We use a industry standard approach called LLM as a judge, which is evaluating those responses versus an expected response. And it's, again, looking for semantic correctness. So in addition to giving a correctness score, we'll also get feedback from the LLM as a judge to tell you why it scored it that way. So really useful in doing this analysis. And you can even do comparative analysis over time to see how these evaluation sets compare to one another. And then with tracing, you can get a step-by-step timeline of all the execution steps, the whole sequence of the step the agents took to complete their tasks. So very detailed. You're going to be able to find out exactly what is happening within your organization through this tooling. Now, the second big thing to share about 25D is we are enabling another approach towards building agents. If we start with agent teams, which is our primary approach in 25C, we're using what's called a hierarchical agent, a supervisor and a set of workers. And this is a collaborative network in which the supervisor is planning and again delegating to workers for their specialization within that network. And this is a multi-agent team example. This is the most probabilistic scenario because we are relying on the model to do the plan and to actually execute the steps completely out of control of the human. As we start to move left, we're starting to add more determinism. And if we get all the way here, what we're looking at is workflows, which is essentially a way to chain nodes of capability together. So this is for for workflows which are very deterministic. In other words, as an author of an agent, I know exactly the steps that I need the agents to take, and I'm going to set those up into that exact flow. So this capability, coupled with the more dynamic nature of an agent team, gives our customers pretty much every type of approach that they need to support. Within workflow agents is a set of nodes. They set how and when these nodes are executed. They create a sequence of steps that connect those nodes to one another. The outputs of one node generally feed into the output of the next node, and they can send input variables via a REST trigger and also manage conditional branches as well. Typically, this is best used for things like document processing. I mean, there's many types of use cases you can imagine, but document processing is a really good example of how a workflow, again, there's a sequence of steps that we know it needs to take. It needs to ingest some type of text. It needs to classify that text. It needs to extract entities from that unstructured text. Typically, there's a human in the loop who needs to review or approve. And then finally, we need to make some type of transaction within Fusion. These are the typical types of use cases where a deterministic workflow is going to be extremely useful for Fusion types of use cases. On the model side, I just wanted to mention that we will be supporting new models in 25D. So we'll be supporting GPT-5 Mini as the premium model that's available to our customers. And oops, let me go back. We'll be moving to GPT OSS as the hosted model internally for the basic model. We'll still host Meta Llama models, 3.3 and 3.1. And we also continue to use Cohere. We have Command R, and we use their embed models for the RAG. These are included with Fusion. And then they're going to have access to several other models. So you connect up to the service providers, for example, Vertex, to get access to Gemini and the Anthropic models. We're going to be hosting or supporting access to Grok 3 as well. And then you have access to the additional GPT models. The last thing I want to share about 25D that's really key is that we're enabling partners, our systems integrator partners, to deliver agent templates in Agent Studio. So just like we introduced in 25C, pre-built agents that our customers can use out of the box. Our customers, over 20 partners, have built 100 plus certified agent templates that are going to be included in the product that our customers can use and deliver into their enterprise.